Look what happened.
Last night, I spoke with Donald Trump. I'm sincerely grateful that he's doing well and recovering, and we had a short but good conversation.
American presidential aspirant Donald Trump was shot in the ear during a rally in Pennsylvania in an attack now being investigated as an assassination attempt. The attacker was shot dead, and law enforcement officials said they had not yet identified a motive. But guess who is blaming President Joe Biden for an attempt on Trump's life? Kremlin, yes, you heard that right. We do not believe that the attempt to eliminate and assassinate Trump was organized by the current authorities, Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told reporters. But the atmosphere around candidate Trump provoked what America is confronting today. President Biden condemned the attack, saying there was no place for that kind of violence in America. Peskov said Russia condemned any violence in the course of the political struggle. His comments echoed those of some of Trump's Republican allies, who immediately pinned the blame on Biden and his administration.
I said last night, there is no place in America for this kind of violence, or any violence for that matter.
After numerous attempts to remove candidate Trump from the political arena using first legal tools, the courts, prosecutors, attempts to politically discredit and compromise the candidate, it was obvious to all outside observers that his life was in danger, Peskov said. He added that there were no plans for President Vladimir Putin to call Trump in light of the incident. Putin has said the outcome of the U.S. presidential election is unlikely to change anything for Russia, and that Trump's presidency had damaged U.S.-Russia relations. But the Russian leader has taken a public interest in Trump's statements that he could end the Ukraine war, saying he does not know the details, but supports the idea of ending the war in principle. Back in 2018, when Trump was U.S. president, Putin was asked whether he had wanted Trump to win the 2016 election and had instructed officials to help him. He said, "Yes, I did," although he denied any interference, saying the allegations were complete nonsense. World leaders, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, rapidly condemned Saturday's attack, expressing shock, denouncing political violence, and wishing Trump a quick recovery. Peskov and Russia's foreign ministry pointed to previous assassinations of U.S. presidents, highlighting domestic U.S. security failings. Vyacheslav Volodin, the Speaker of Russia's lower house of parliament, said the American political crisis, deep divisions in society, and Washington's focus on interfering in other nations' affairs were all causes of the attack on Trump. With its years-long policy, the United States has let itself reach literally the brink of civil war, Volodin wrote on Telegram. Volodin also said Trump's position on Ukraine could not be completely ruled out as a reason for the attack. Trump is one of the few Western politicians who has openly spoken about the need to stop sponsoring military action, Volodin said. Russia's foreign ministry used the shooting to urge Washington to stop funding Ukraine's military and concentrate on improving domestic law enforcement instead. Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022 has brought Russia's ties with the West to their lowest ebb since the height of the Cold War. Asked whether the Trump attack could affect the legitimacy of the United States' upcoming election, Peskov said, "It is not for us to judge. We have not the slightest desire to interfere. This is a U.S. matter." Joe Biden earlier condemned the sick attack on his rival, as news of the attempt on Trump's life sent shockwaves through U.S. political circles and prompted most world leaders to react with horror. "There's no place in America for this kind of violence," the U.S. president said during a snap press conference shortly after Trump was injured at his election rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday evening. "It's sick," he said. "It's sick." The president was attending church near his beach house in Delaware when news of the attempted assassination broke. He left the service early to be briefed by security chiefs and later called Trump, who had by that time been driven under guard to a doctor's surgery in Butler County. In a written statement from the White House, the president said he was grateful to hear that Trump was safe and doing well. The statement added, "I'm praying for him and his family and for all those who were at the rally as we await further information." It said the president and Jill Biden, the First Lady, were grateful to the Secret Service for getting him to safety, stressing that we must unite as one nation to condemn this kind of violence. Trump, 78, confirmed shortly after the attack that he had suffered a wound to the ear but was otherwise fine. "I will never surrender," he declared in a subsequent social media post. Trump also thanked the Secret Service agents who protected him and paid condolences to the rally attendee who was killed. One person was confirmed to have died in the shooting and 2 others were critically injured. The suspected shooter, a 20-year-old Pennsylvania man, was killed by Secret Service agents within a minute of the first shots ringing out at Trump's rally. The news sent the entire world into a meltdown. Newly elected British Prime Minister Keir Starmer was among the first leaders to express shock and send messages of support to Trump. "I am appalled by the shocking scenes at President Trump's rally, and we send him and his family our best wishes. Political violence in any form has no place in our societies, and my thoughts are with all the victims of this attack," Sir Keir said. The Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese called the incident concerning and confronting, as he expressed relief that Trump had survived. "There was no place for violence in the democratic process," Albanese said. Israeli leader Benjamin Netanyahu said he and his wife Sarah were shocked by the apparent attack on President Trump. "We pray for his safety and speedy recovery," the Israeli PM added. On his part, Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, who has had a rocky relationship with Trump, said on X that he was sickened by the shooting. "It cannot be overstated. Political violence is never acceptable," Trudeau said. "And that's not all." Volodymyr Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, said he was appalled to learn about the shooting, adding that such violence has no justification and no place anywhere in the world. "Never should violence prevail," Zelensky said. "I am relieved to learn that Donald Trump is now safe and wish him a speedy recovery." In South America, Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador called the violence irrational and inhuman. And down across Asia, Fumio Kishida, the leader of Japan, where former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe was assassinated at a political event 2 years ago, said that we must stand firm against any form of violence that challenges democracy. India wasn't left behind either. Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister, said he was deeply concerned by the attack on my friend. "Our thoughts and prayers are with the family of the deceased, those injured, and the American people," he said. Still in Asia, the recently elected president of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, offered his thoughts and prayers to Trump, as well as his sincere condolences to the victims affected by the attack. There was no immediate reaction from China's President Xi Jinping, who had a complicated relationship with Trump when he was in office and rarely makes direct comments on global events. Chinese state media outlet The Global Times offered its analysis, quoting an expert as noting that the current level of chaos in the U.S. somewhat resembles that of the early 1970s, adding that this incident could potentially strengthen Trump's campaign advantage. Back home in the U.S., former leaders had their say on their infamous incident. Barack Obama was among former presidents quickly lining up to condemn the violence. Although we don't yet know exactly what happened, we should all be relieved that former President Trump wasn't seriously hurt and use this moment to recommit ourselves to civility and respect in our politics, he said in a social media post. "Michelle and I are wishing him a quick recovery." Bill Clinton, whose wife Hillary ran against Trump in the 2016 election, said, "Violence has no place in America, especially in our political process." He added, "Hillary and I are thankful that President Trump is safe, heartbroken for all those affected by the attack at today's rally in Pennsylvania, and grateful for the swift action of the U.S. Secret Service." The Biden team said it would temporarily suspend its campaign communications and that the president would return to the White House early.
We need the public's help. Anyone who was on scene, who saw anything, who identified any information, please report that to the FBI using either the phone number 1-800.
Biden had been planning to spend the entire weekend at his holiday home in Rehoboth, a beachside city. This was following some of the most difficult days of his leadership, during which some fellow Democrats called on him to quit the 2024 presidential race. The Biden campaign is pausing all outbound communications and working to pull down our television ads as quickly as possible, campaign spokesman Kevin Munoz told reporters on Saturday night. News reaching us indicates that senior Republicans are concerned, outraged, and defiant. Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader, said that all Americans are grateful that President Trump appears to be fine after a despicable attack on a peaceful rally. Violence has no place in our politics. We appreciate the swift work of the Secret Service and other law enforcement. Mike Rogers, a former senior member of Congress who is currently running for Senate, said, "This is a somber moment for our nation. We are praying for President Trump and all Americans today." Michael McCaul, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, asked people to pray for President Trump, his Secret Service members, and everyone at today's rally. Doug Burgum, governor of North Dakota, wrote on X, "We all know President Trump is stronger than his enemies. Today, he showed it." In another twist of events, the left-leaning side has been accused of encouraging violence during this electioneering period. One of Trump's short-list picks for vice president, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, commented soon after the attack, asking everyone to join me in praying for Trump's recovery and the other victims. He also appeared to lay the blame for the incident on rhetoric from the Biden campaign without providing evidence. The motives of the shooter are not yet known.
Everyone join me in prayer for President Trump and everyone at the rally. I hope everyone is okay.
Today is not just some isolated incident. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs, Senator Vance said on X. That rhetoric led directly to President Trump's attempted assassination, he continued. The Conservative Political Action Conference also alleged that the left was responsible for the shot on Trump's life as a last resort to keep him from winning the 2024 election. For years, the left and the media lied and demonized President Trump, the group said in a statement. When they failed, they tried to lock him up. Today, we have witnessed the horrific end to the left's dangerous rhetoric. Trump's son, Donald Trump Jr., said he had spoken to his father on Saturday and that he was in great spirits, adding, "He will never stop fighting to save America, no matter what the radical left throws at him." His daughter Ivanka Trump added, "I love you, Dad, today and always," as she thanked all those who had prayed for the victims of the senseless violence. Americans are still trying to come to terms with the extremely shocking news. Some of them have never experienced anything like this. The last time was the assassination attempt on Ronald Reagan in 1981, but it's clear that these types of incidents are happening with increasing frequency, and this is making Americans very nervous. The fact that the country is so divided. Meanwhile, security has been heightened here, but there have also been questions about how this even happened in the first place. We know that when it comes to the Secret Service, they have what's called a no-fail mission, but we know that in this case, it did fail. We also know that the FBI has taken the lead on this investigation. The big story prior to this was the call for President Biden himself to potentially step down from the top of the ticket. What we can confirm to you is that all of that has been blunted in terms of the presidential race.
Congressman has urged President Biden to make way for another candidate in November's presidential election.
Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas has added his voice to a chorus of world leaders denouncing the attempted assassination of Trump, joining the likes of Russia. We condemn this act of terror and reaffirm the positions of the State of Palestine, which has always rejected violence, terrorism, and extremism, regardless of its source, Abbas said in a statement cited by the Palestinian Wafa news agency. Qatar's foreign ministry also issued a similar statement condemning the attack and wishing the former U.S. president a speedy recovery. Per the investigators of the incident, 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks has been named as the suspect in Trump's assassination attempt. As mentioned earlier, Crooks, from Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, was shot dead by the Secret Service seconds after he allegedly fired at Trump, hitting him in the ear.
The FBI identified the gunman as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. They say he fired shots from outside the secure cordoned area of the...
Crooks lived about an hour away from where the shooting took place in Butler. He graduated in 2022 from Bethel Park High School, according to the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. He received a $500 Star Award from the National Math and Science Initiative, according to the newspaper.
Thomas Crooks.
A 2022 graduation ceremony video cited by the New York Times shows Crooks receiving his high school diploma to some applause. Video from that ceremony posted online shows the shooter with glasses in a black graduation gown and posing with a school official. While the blame game continues, the big question remains: what next? Well, whatever is next, keep in touch with us, and we'll let you know as it comes. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.